alive, can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Hello. Hi, you guys. I hope that all of you are doing well. Hopefully your weekend is off to a blessed and a productive start today. Hopefully you got the right kind of energy presenting itself, right? Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson. I am Dr. Jefferson. If you are a first-time viewer, I'm super happy to have you here. Hopefully today is going to be complimentary to your week, right? And not an extension of your week and require too much of you guys. I just ask that you hold negative commentary within yourself so that you can see what is seeding that commentary over the course of this show. So recently, we've had several conversations, right? And this is a show that is rooted in accountability and properly bringing about awareness when it comes to issues in the community here in America, also issues abroad, in a way that it impacts the perceptions and lives of the Black community here in America, but also in other communities, because I do believe in integration of people, and I believe that people should work together to achieve the common goal of autonomy. So there is a video that I watched that Tough Love, Mario J, did on his channel in regard to the battle of that people have when they're hating, when they find themselves hating on other people. And I hear that term used a lot, and we use that term loosely. And when I think that people are referring to things loosely to kind of describe their experiences, I feel like there has to be a reason that we do it. So when people do not agree with us, right? And people come at us in a negative way, when people talk to us or talk about us, should I say, in a negative way, and they don't come to us when they have quarrels with us, when people go and they find other people to kind of jump on the bandwagon and, join them in attacking us and our character, when people are underhanded in the way that they deal with us, oftentimes we call those people haters. That's what that means, right? My question is going to be, how many of you have ever had people hate on you? So even if you're catching this on the replay, I want you guys to type 1 if you've had people hate on you, okay? And then if you've not ever had a person hate on you, I want you to type 2. If you have had multiple people hate on you, right, and it's a repetitive cycle and it's a recent cycle, I want you to type a 5 in the chat or the comments, depending on where you're viewing from. So I want to be able to understand how many people are watching this video as a result of them being able to resonate with the content. So the video that was done by Tough Love or Mario J, it talks about people being at war with life, right? And I know that you guys have heard me talk about life yielding several experiences, and from those experiences, taking the lessons and applying them accordingly so that we can expand our purview of what life is yielding and what it's preparing us for and where we're going with that, right? So to make this thing easy to understand, because I feel like Mario made several valid points, but I kind of wanted to add to and expound upon some of the frameworks of his ideals. He was kind of getting to it toward the end when he said that people are not only in a battle with life, but they're also in a battle with themselves, because it's important for you to understand how you and what makes you, how you achieve autonomy. And that is self-valuation and self-assurance and a high sense of self in life and acceptance radically of all of the experiences. So I want to talk to you guys about self-esteem and your sense of self. And I'm going to have a pretty collaborative conversation of that piece, but I'm going to try to keep this particular live a bit brief because I have some other things to do today. And I want this video to resonate. I do. I really do. But we're going to have this conversation. So oftentimes, if we go all the way back to the conditionings of your parents and your grandparents and great grandparents, and depending on what your age is, some of you were raised in a household with those people present, very present for your conditioning. And what that did is teach you how to live life through a lens of acceptance, right? So accepting what life yields to you, but also being accountable and responsible for your misdeeds, missteps in life. And so as a result, you guys think that you make mistakes in life. As a result, you think that things can be right or wrong in life because that's the way you were conditioned. But I want to challenge you to open up your mind to the possibility of being reconditioned. And let me introduce another construct to you. People, human beings, are collective energies, okay? And because we are collective energies, we are shaped from the moment that we are in utero by our parent caregiver, mother, okay, tu madre. And while you are being shaped, while you are in the process of being made, while your personality is being cultivated at its infancy, right? There are certain things that your parent caregiver is going through. And as a result of them going through things, those things and the feelings that they have as a result of those things happening affects you directly because they're responsible for creating you then. Hey, Rainbow Rev, how are you? So if we are to understand ourselves, if we are to understand how we find ourselves in an internal struggle in the first place, if we are to be transparent with ourselves, then we can really get to being and living in a fulfilled life, right? Driven by purpose and passion. We can find our purpose on a day-to-day, and we can be passionate about finding our purpose on a day-to-day, but also to tethering ourselves to the right types of energy that adds maximum value to us, okay? So if we talk about components of self, you are comprised of different elements of you. If we went back to the father of psychology, Sigmund Freud, and some of his ideals around id, ego, superego, even if we said, okay, well, let's just understand the parts work of Dick Schwartz, both of them have contributed greatly to our understanding in the field of psychology when it comes to person, what it means to be a person. Even Erik Erikson and Jean Piaget and things like that. These are people who have contributed to our understanding in great ways because they've had an opportunity not only to expand the theory, okay, but also to introduce into the idea and expand into the area of science so we can really look into the experience of people, the synapses in the brain, what makes people tick, what creates healthy behaviors, what creates irate responses, what people mask, how they mask, things like that. Your sense of self is about you knowing what's appropriate for you. So, not good or bad, not right or wrong, but knowing what's good for you in order for you to achieve the outcomes that you think you should be partaking in at whatever phase of life you find yourself in. So, life is about learning. If you're not learning, you're not living. Life will yield several experiences over the tenure of you living it. And it's up to you whether or not you mature through those experiences. So I say to people all the time, growth is inevitable because we're constant evolutionary individuals, energies, right? So we're going to evolve regardless. But whether you mature through your experiences, whether you take a lesson from those experiences that life yields, that's up to you. So what happens is life will give you phases of development, and all of these phases will be identity crises because they will be spaces in your life that you're meant to identify how you are resonating with you. Okay? And oftentimes that can lead to a fight because different parts of you present in different areas, in different scenarios, in different situations, right? As appropriate. And so we don't say that people have a problem until the wrong part of them presents for a conversation or a situation. And then as a result, they can't get through that experience, right? But that experience and the way that they present it, even in that moment, even though we may think that it was a misstep or a mistake, everything happens for a reason. Everything. Everything happens for a reason. So my question for you guys is, what is your dharma? What is your peace? Your place of peace? What is your true autonomy? What's seeding into that, right? What seeds are you sowing? So the interweaving of people involves introspect. We must be introspective individuals. When we have certain reactions to certain situations, we must be people that are honest and reflective and honest in our reflections. And we say to ourselves, like, what's this really about? Right? Because we're curious about what life is trying to tell us, right? And then here is the other thing. It's not so much as life in and of itself, it's about your spirit. So your inner reflections are your spirit speaking to you every single day and every single part of your walk, of your path, regardless of what your religious housing may be or your situation and faith may be. Your spirit is always going to put you in the right place at the right time for the right experience so that you can have the option of learning and applying knowledge from experiences. I hear people say every day, well, what do you say to rape victims? There isn't a God. Rape happens for a reason. What do you say to assault victims? That doesn't, that doesn't say that God is present, or that doesn't say that, good things are happening to good people, blah, blah, blah. There are no good people. People are just people. People have good and bad experiences based on their perceptions. Their perceptions are shaped by previous experiences, exposures, and conditioning. So, what's really important to take away is that you have haters because these people are not in a battle with life. They're not fighting life. They're trying to figure out who they are in their becoming. And in their becoming, you are present in some way for that experience. And because you are present in the way that you are present, and they can't figure out why you're present in the way that you're present, and they identify with some elements of you that say these elements should be mine for whatever reason, okay? Or these elements should impact me in this way for whatever reason, because we have no control over the way people think. We have no control over the way people view us. And we can't seek out control over those elements either, because their journey is their journey. Mind the business that minds you. So they say, right? Don't look down on other people unless you're rendering a hand to pull them up to where you are right now. So Mario, in his speech, he said something about leveling up. So leveling up is about helping people achieve a higher level of being, right? A higher capacity to receive, a higher capacity to be in life, right? So that means giving people what they need from you in order for them to better the components of them that are impacted directly by you, by your presence, by your energy, by your platform, right? By your voice, because everybody has some level of value, some attribution to another person. We're all systemically connected, all of us. So, not just some of us, not the ones we choose, right? But all of us are connected. So, it's really important to understand that haters have a purpose. They're there to keep us grounded. They are there to keep us humble. They are there to challenge our level of introspect, just to make sure that we've been doing the work on ourselves that we need to, so that when they come for us, per se, we're able to look within and look at the way that we operate, not only with them, but the way that we operate externally with the rest of the world, so that we can find out whether or not there is reliability to what it is they have to offer in a conversation. And believe it or not, their perspectives hold validity, even not necessarily just for them, but also for you in your introspective work, because you need something to kind of base your mindset off of certain ideas, right? You need to ground yourself. You need to be looking for something specific when you're looking within yourself. So you need to be searching for something specific. So when I go after people like Kevin Samuels, right? When I say things like, are you keeping the same energy across the board? Are you helping people across the board? Because from his standpoint, he's helping people, right? So are the policies, the guidelines that you say shape success in relationships, are they in alignment with one another, right? And so when I say things like, this guy deflected, most people see that as an attack, because they're like, wait, how could you attack Kevin Samuels and say he's gay? That's not an attack. That's an observation. The observation is that he was asked a question very directly about his sexuality, and he bounced around giving an answer. His body language said that he was very uncomfortable, right? So there is a difference in accountability and hating. So when I say that you need to do introspective work, and when I say that it's important that that introspective work be grounded in a particular thing, that means take these things that people are saying and take it back and look within and say, you know what? Am I that person? Am I gay? Like, do I embody feminine characteristics that will make someone think that I'm gay? Or what is it that makes people feel that way about me, right? What's driving their perception? So we can't be quick to jump to a conclusion and say, you know what? They're just saying that because they don't like me, right? They may not like you, right? That's the reality. Everybody in life is not going to like you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. All right. But you should have a secure enough sense of self to realize that there is validity in every point of view that's ever presented to you, whether or not those points of view are points of views that you align with or not. Like, you should know whether or not and the extent to which they have validity. And you should be able to use that as fuel that drives your passion to become a greater version of yourself, a more aware version of yourself in the way that you interact with other people, the way that you also interact with the different parts of yourself. So we are all parts, right? Trying to make the parts fit and present at the right time so that we can secure the wealth of life. The wealth of life is about you applying those lessons learned from the many experiences that life yields to you, right? And allowing your spirit to do what it needs to do so that you can seat yourself properly amidst the people who compliment you, right? The people who add value to you, the people that you are here to add value to, even if you don't know your purpose in their life. Because the reality is this: sometimes it will seem like that person is a waste of space. Sometimes it will seem like that person is just critical of you, right? Sometimes it will seem like that person is the most negative person that you've ever seated yourself before, right? But you have to be greater than what things seem like. You have to be greater than what's on the surface. And you have to position yourself in a place to where you can open that book and read it, because sometimes titles can be misleading, right? So we all know that titles can be misleading because sometimes we get clickbait on the internet. People are driven primarily by hostility, discord amongst people, messiness, right? That's just people. People are there for the drama. We like drama. Even in movies, when we go to the movies, we want to see the movies that have the most conflict, the most drama, so that it's not boring, right? In order for us to be entertained in life, we have to have some level of discord. There has to be some battle taking place. So I think that we have to be people to ask ourselves, like, why is that? What drives our motivations, our interest factors? Why? Why do we have to be looking at things that are filled with drama, right? What does that say about us? What kind of people are we when we're motivated by hostility, discord between people? Why do the ratings of shows like Love and Hip Hop, where people are constantly fighting each other physically, demeaning each other and things like that? Why does Kevin Samuels and what's his name, Tommy Sotomayor, why do they get so many followers and so many people backing them and so many people protecting them, when we know that these channels are very negative? Like, why? Why does Cynthia G get so much attention if she's bashing men, if she's degrading men, right? Why do we only pay attention to stars when they're amidst chaos in their lives? Why are we more interested in celebrity gossip versus prosperity, motivation? Why does hostility grab our attention? What does that say about where we are in our lives, in our journey of living? What does that say about whether or not we have achieved the wealth of life? Like, help me understand. So securing the wealth of life means that we are doing the work that will help ground us. That means that we are doing the work that will help us understand where wealth lies. That means that we are people who are so secure in our sense of self that we understand the difference between a person that is conceited or cocky and a person that is confident and rested in their position in life, so that they can continue to become in their journey appropriately. So there is quite a difference. I think the theme of Mario's video yesterday was, someone had asked him, why is he so cocky? And his response was because he had been through some things. But to elaborate on some of his key points of the video, people are constantly battling components over the course of their lifespan. Those components are their inner parts, because your inner parts have something to say at every single step, every single experience that you go through. And your internal parts, some of them feel like they're seated in the wrong position, and the other ones are there to check them so that you can remain calibrated in the way that you respond to the world around you, right? But in that internal battle, you also have an external response or behavior that's going to come after you've come to an overall consensus of who's right in your parts. So one moment, your very violent, volatile part may present, and that's who may have the validity at the moment. That's who may have the mic at the moment. And Guess what? That component of yourself might be very toxic in the moment, right? Because that person may feel like, dang, that person has what's mine, right? This guy went and married my wife, right? This woman took my man, right? So wait, what is it about her that makes you want to go and be with her? Like, why you picked her over me? Like, why did you pick him over me? And the biggest thing that I hear people talk about in the Black community is, oh, women say that a man is gay when she wants to slight him, and she's mad that she can't beat him and she can't compete, blah, blah, blah. Men and women, I'm going to say this for the last time, stop competing with one another because you're not equals. Competitions are meant for people who see themselves as equal to or greater than another person. You're not equals. You're not built to be equals, and you're not supposed to be competing with one another. Go out and compete with those that are your likeness, okay? And here's the reality. If you find yourself torn between trying to respect another person because they have something of value to add to you and you're rejecting that said value, that means you need to be doing more introspective work. That means you need to be looking within and find out what is it that's causing me to be so resistant to something that could potentially lead to my growth and maturation. Because I'm going to continue to grow, but am I going to be matured in that growth? Am I going to learn the lessons that this phase of life has for me to apply to get to the next phase of life? Am I going to learn the lessons that are going to seat me in the positions to be able to receive the fruits of my labor at the end of this crisis, right? Am I going to be able to be seated and rested in my position in life comfortably and not second guessing myself, not second guessing the different components of me that need to say something, that have a voice of validity in the moment? Am I going to have a problem with denying myself the basic truths that I need to elevate myself in my consciousness in life? Am I going to have a problem with being able to see the world around me as complementary to me instead of being at battle with me? That part. So what I need for you guys to do is to share this content, because we don't know who needs and what resonates with who. But the one thing that I want to clarify, because I've seen a whole lot of it on my channel, because I know I've pushed this thing to YouTube, and that's a fairly newer thing for me, and it's a little different for me to have so much feedback and interaction live from the viewers versus having my podcast where people are listening and doing their own thing and they really can't reply, and if they do, they leave voice messages, right? And I want to say this, okay? Everybody is not meant for everybody, but we are all collections of energy, and eventually you will collide sometimes with energy that's not meant to stay for a lifetime, but only for a moment. But everything that happens for a reason. So even those moments when we find ourselves tethered to, attached to, in contact with energy that is not meant for us, it's still meant for our greater purpose, right? So that doesn't mean that energy is any lesser than or greater than our being. It's complementary to where we're going. Okay? That's what it is. So I need you guys to understand this. When I am here for accountability, it is for a reason. That means that level of accountability for these people, that level of accountability for these ideals, that level of accountability for these spiritual practices, that level of accountability for these groups in the world that are definitely contributing to the fabric of our being, will help someone else as they move through the different phases of life, so that they can gain clarity that is necessary for them to continue to build their platform, to continue to invest in self, to continue to mature through their experiences. Because the reality is this: if we live in a world that is shaped by us and where we are the only people that hold validity in our viewpoints, the only people, how can we truly grow? How can we? A seed cannot become anything without the soil. without water, photosynthesis, pruning, plants, animals, air we breathe. This world is all connected. Everybody has a job to do in order for us to all stay balanced. It's about balance. It's about congruence. Okay? So for me, I want you guys to understand that it's very important that people sit back, they take a step back, and they reflect on how it is they can grow into new spaces, right? And how you can gain from those people, not only those people that are hating on you, right? But also the people that are cheerleading you, and also the people that are way in the back that can't even hear you. They're just present. They're just present for what it is that this moment means for you. But you got to understand that they're also being impacted. Everybody's being impacted by everybody. We all have some level of validity, but we have to be permissive enough, right? And aware enough, right? To allow other people's voices and their validity to resonate with themselves as needed, when needed, right? Because we're not here to control that element, only our responses. So the way things resonate with us. So that's what I got. Hopefully you guys go out and start checking out some other people, other content creators that definitely need some level of accountability, right? In the content, or you guys can send me stuff that you want me to expand on and give my viewpoints on. But I'm going to go back and find the video, and I'm going to post a link to it in the description so you guys have access to it, because I feel like he had a lot of great points. I feel like he had a lot of great things to say, and I feel like somebody needs to hear that message, because somebody in their life is definitely finding themselves in an internal battle, and they feel like they're on the losing end of it. And the reality is we are oftentimes losing the battle within ourselves in life because we're not allowing ourselves to expand our perception of the world that we live in. Okay. We're not allowing ourselves to receive what is meant for us to transcend into new spaces because we've grown so comfortable in the spaces in which we see, you know? So even when we find ourselves adopting new principles or new practices, we're still back in our old ways too, because that's what's comfortable. That's what we knew. That's what we know how to do, and we do it efficiently. I want you guys to go back and watch the video that I think Kevin Samuels recorded this yesterday or last night, and tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you think about it as compared to what I said right after his interview with Tasha K. Okay. And I won't influence you guys. I'll let you just go ahead, take a look, see, and you come back and let me know what you found. All right. So be good to one another. Make good choices. Make good choices that are reflective of your maturation and your growth in life. Okay. And continue to add positive energy to those people around you. And take note of the negative energy, because it might have a purpose too. Okay. So that's all I got, you guys. Love, love, love you guys. Don't forget to share the content. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Later days.
Your life can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.